What's going on, guys? Dex here. Thank you so much for coming to watch this video. I just noticed that you've been showing interest in my fat loss accelerator. So, really, this video is to give you something very short but seriously useful. And I really want to change your perspective on fat loss forever because let's be real, it's not complex. It's honestly just misunderstood. And the first mistake that I often see when people are trying to lose fat is they just immediately cut out their calories. But guys, that's just one lever. And let's be real, it's not the first and it's probably not the most important one that I would choose. So today I'm going to show to you guys what the most important lever is to me. All right. We're going to talk about how you should really view fat loss and what you can actually do to implement these tactics because honestly, your health and well-being to me is the most important thing. Right? If you don't have a healthy body, how can you live your best life? If you're just worried about the next disease that's coming on, or if you're really thinking about all the back pain that you're going to have in the future, what's the point? Right? And you see, this is my long-term passion. My goal, my mission is to really help men become leaders in their family, show up for what matters the most to them. Like for me, my family, for example, my goal is to really show up for them and inspire other people to be the role that they can be in the world. They want to be the man that they can be for their whole family. And from there, other aspects of their life starts to change. And to me, it's about confidence, strength, sustainability. And more importantly, just being able to keep up with your kids, right? And to me, I don't care if you can lose X amount of weight in 90 days. That's easy, guys. The real challenge is losing fat and keeping it off. And the worst thing that I see is around people losing weight per se is they lose weight, but they gain it all back and more. And this happens because they go through this massive calorie deficit. They damage their metabolism and they create this destructive cycle with food. And so to me, what I think that everyone should aspire to, and this is my opinion, is to aspire for fast and sustainable fat loss. And it's not just about your after photo, guys. It's about your after photos. The goal isn't just like, hey, I want to do this fat loss workout or this fat loss diet, right? It's about instilling these healthy habits so it happens for a very, very long time. And today we're basically going to be talking about these high impact habits, okay, and how they can actually factor into your life, right? And this is more than just nutrition and training, guys. There's a concept around this. And the concept I want to explain to you, and honestly, if you can understand this, it makes so much sense. And it's about metabolic efficiency, which I'm going to talk about. So, guys, what is metabolic efficiency? It's basically what your resting metabolic rate is. How much fat are you burning at rest? Okay. So, for example, right now, when I'm resting, my body is optimized to use fat for fuel, right? It's like when I'm burning fat while doing nothing. And that's like the best part, right? Efficiency allows me to burn fat faster when I'm actually doing exercise as well, right? So, a good sign that you're not being very metabolic efficient is if you're gasping for air when you're climbing upstairs. That's a sign of low metabolic efficiency. From there, you're probably burning carbs instead of fat, but don't worry, we can actually train that so that your metabolism becomes more flexible. Okay, so I'm gonna explain something called the onion analogy, right? And I literally got this from Shrek, so hopefully this makes a lot of sense. Picture your body like an onion, right? There's several layers. Top layer represents your strongest muscle, okay? And then in the core, it's like your spine, your tendon, your ligaments, and joint. So imagine you're like a volleyball player and you're a jumper, right? So if you're a jumper, your strongest muscle is probably going to be your quads. That's your top layer, right? So if you go to the gym and you train and you do squats, guess which muscle you're going to use? You use the top layer, right? But the issue happens when the top layer is like a gas tank, there's nothing left, right? And theoretically, you should have all these backup layers in place. Now, if you don't have these layers in place, guess what happens? Yeah, injuries, right? Injuries happen. So if you have injuries, it's really about you not optimizing your body and training all these other muscles. And that's the issue. Okay? Because muscles require more energy to burn at rest than fat does. And so this will impact your metabolism. So getting your body really strong like the onion is going to do two things. Number one, right? Because you now have all these layers in place, right? It makes it really hard to get hurt because you have so many layers in between your top layer and your core, which is your tendon, ligaments, joints, spine, all that stuff, right? But more importantly, because muscle require more energy to burn at rest than fat does, right? The more muscle mass that you have, the more gas slash energy you'll have, right? This is how people are able to stay up later, right? Enjoy life more because they now have more energy to spend. And the higher their energy expenditure, the higher your metabolism. And this isn't about being a bodybuilder, guys. It's about optimizing your movements, right? It's about moving better and burning fat while at rest. And we're not just mindlessly thinking about, hey, we're just going to go do a bunch of bench press. Because, guys, like, bench press is not going to help you run when you're 80. Okay. So it does two things, right? Having a very strong onion does two things. First off, makes it really, really hard for you to get hurt because you have all these layers in place. But secondly, more importantly, it boosts the crap out of your metabolism. It boosts your metabolism so much that basically it's not like you're thick like a bodybuilder. You just have all these backup layers in place, and that causes density, muscle density, right? That's how you're able to look, tone, muscle definition, right? And this is what we achieve. This is how our clients really achieve the results that they get. It's not just about nutrition, guys. It's not just going on a calorie deficit, right? It's about improving the metabolic efficiency, right? Once you are able to maximize your metabolic efficiency, you have more energy and enjoy more family time, right? While building a very resilient body. And if you think about it, because your calorie expenditure is so much higher, your resting metabolic rate is so much higher, you can now eat more food. You can eat more food. You can go out and eat with your friends and not have to worry about like, hey, I just need to keep dropping my calories and eat 1,400 calories, right? And this is all about making lifelong changes. Yes, it takes a bit of discipline and commitment, but it's the most important thing because it positively impacts every aspect of your life, right? So if you're committed, honestly, nothing can stand in your way. It's about keeping the promises you make to yourself. And when you follow through on your commitment, you show yourself and those around you that you're reliable, you're committed, you're driven, you're disciplined, you're focused. And this is the thing that happens when you actually commit to yourself, right? So what's the plan, right? How do you achieve this? It's really about implementing, right? Start walking every single day. Begin conditioning. Focus on balanced meals. You got to manage your stress. You got to optimize your sleep. Above all, you got to commit to the process. Remember, 99% commitment equates to failure because that's a buffer room, right? Not saying you have to eat chicken and broccoli, like that's not sustainable, but you need to commit to your plan, right? You need to remove instant gratification, right? And for those who resist it and stick to the plan, when you commit to everything you say you will do, success will become inevitable, right? So remember, it's not just about what you eat or how many calories you burn. It's really about the process. Keep your muscles, guys, because when you're on a calorie deficit, that's when your muscle starts to waste, right? That's how your muscles become weaker, and it becomes weaker. If it becomes weaker, you can't protect your joints, right? And your joint is so important. But more importantly, this is how you're going to get energy. Commit, follow through, see the process. Hopefully this is helpful, guys. This is how you begin the process of sustainable fat loss. So hopefully I shifted your perspective a little bit on fat loss. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Have a good one, guys.